Peace. What's going on, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tune on in before I start building on this topic for the day. Got a little bit more time on my hands today, man. So I got time to build today. So today will be a good day, man. Today will be a good build, good dialogue. Got a little bit more time on my hands. So give y'all a little chance to scroll on in before I start diving into this topic for the day, man. It's very important topic that may hurt some feelings, but it is what it is. Zucko, what's going on? Montel, peace, what's going on? How y'all living? Magic Rims, peace, what's going on? Sweet Tea, peace, what's going on? How everybody doing? How everybody holding up on this fabulous Thursday? Yeah, we got an important topic, man. This topic right here tends to ruffle feathers and hurt a lot of feelings. But again, we all know the truth hurts. Fungi, peace, what's going on? Savine, peace, what's going on? Like I said, we know the truth tends to hurt, but it is what it is. This that time of the year where it's really hard being the black sheep, because a lot of people start celebrating these days that's on the calendar that they call holidays. And when you the black sheep, it's kind of hard to function when you don't too much care for these type of days. Zucko, Magic Rims, I'm doing fantastic. Maintaining, I'm staying centered. Fantastic, man. Just here to drop a little bit of knowledge on the people real quick. But everything is smooth my way. John, peace, what's going on? And a lot of times we celebrate these days without knowing the actual origins behind these days. Like a lot of people, they celebrate these days and they don't know the history behind the days. They don't know the significance behind some of the things that they are celebrating, some of the days that they are celebrating, some of the traditions, some of the things like you putting up trees, talking about mistletoe and things of that nature. We're not understanding the significance behind all of this and where all of this stuff came from and comes from. Yet we celebrate it, yet we swear by it, yet we embrace it. So it's a lot of history that a lot of people don't know in regards to how Christmas became what it is today. And a lot of people have this false notion that they are celebrating the birth of Christ. Now, I talked about that in a previous video. We already know that that's a lie, man. If he existed, there's no way he could have been born in December. So we already know that that's a lie. Hence why they would call it Xmas, like I said in the previous video. So you might as well eliminate that. Eliminate that belief. Like, stop telling the kids that. Stop telling the kids that we celebrating the birth of Christ, because if that person did exist, then just by reading the Bible, he would have had to be born in a warmer climate, probably around the spring. So we already know that eliminates December 25th. That eliminates the winter. Jamar, what's going on? What's going on? So that will eliminate December. The only reason why we celebrate this, why we celebrate the so-called birth of Christ on December 25th, that has something to do with the Nicaea Council. They came together in a meeting and they was trying to get rid of the confusion in regards to the birth of Christ. And they settled on this date. They settled on December 25th. So that's the only reason why we celebrate the so-called birth of Christ on December 25th. The Nicaea Council, man, when they came together and they was tired of the confusion in regards to the birth of Christ, and they settled on December 25th. And the reason why they settled on December 25th is because of some pagan traditions that were already in place around that particular time. Hence, we have talked about Saturnalia. When they was worshiping the Roman god of harvest, Saturn. So that festival used to take place from December 17th through the 21st. Then it got extended, or maybe the 23rd. But I know I think it was December 17th to the 23rd. Then it got extended. Yeah, so it was December 17th through the 23rd. Then it got extended to the 24th and 25th. And the 25th was believed to be the birthday of Saturn. which is the Roman god of harvest and things of that nature. So that's where December 25th came from. Hence why they adopted it when they came together in that meeting. They say, all right, to eliminate the confusion, we just gonna settle on this date because this date already has some history attached to it. So that's that trick knowledge. That's how they get us to celebrate days that have their origins tied to it. So that's how we came to associate the birth of Christ with December 25th. So that's a lie. So we might as well eliminate that. That is Saturn, Roman god of Saturn. So if you talk about you don't rock with pagans and you don't rock with anything outside of your religion and you celebrate Christmas, December 25th, you are celebrating the pagans. You are worshiping a pagan deity, whether you know it or not. Whether you know it or not, man, you are worshiping a pagan deity, whether you know it or not. When you acknowledge December 25th and you celebrate it, you celebrating a pagan deity. You're not celebrating a Christ. You're not celebrating somebody named Jesus. You celebrating a pagan deity. And that festival was wicked. The things that they used to do, the things that them Romans used to do during that festival, crazy. I think it was called like Bacchanalian, a celebration. I think that was the name of the celebration. I could be saying it wrong, but I believe it was like Bacchanalian. That was the celebration. That was the Saturnalia celebration. That's what it was referred to as, the Bacchanalian celebration. And that's when them Romans, they used to get sloppy drunk, man. They used to go crazy and they used to engage in homosexual acts. So they used to get sloppy drunk, strip themselves naked and strip the other male naked and engage in homosexual acts. Then they used to go home because these are married men we're talking about. Then after the festival was over and they engaged in the homosexual acts, then they used to go home and be abusive toward their women, toward their wives. So this is the type of stuff that we celebrate, but we don't understand. We don't understand the history behind it. But that's some of the stuff that we celebrate. If people understood the origins behind that, they would not celebrate it. Man, you celebrating a time period where these dudes used to get sloppy drunk, engage in homosexual acts with one another, and then go home and abuse their wives. That's the type of stuff you celebrate. And that's the origin of the day that you celebrate. That's the origin of the time frame that you celebrate. And that's who gave you this day to celebrate. That's who gave you this day to celebrate. And we're not even going to get into the economic aspect of it. The economic aspect of it, man, basically to put more money into their pockets, man, to save the businesses around this time, man. We putting all money in their pockets around this time. Just think about all the money that these corporations making off of us around this time. When it comes to Christmas, man, we spending our last dime to enrich these corporations, man. So the economic aspect behind it is strong as well. Dominique, peace. What's going on? Trayon, what's going on with you? But yeah, the economic aspect behind the holidays is deep as well. But we already know that aspect of it, man. Just think about the money that's being made right now. Think about the debt we putting ourselves in, the debt we put ourselves in, and think about the wealth that they generating off of our debt. Because for the most part, 9 times out of 10, we putting ourselves in debt, man. We really can't afford some of the things that we out here purchasing. And that's what tends to happen. That's what tends to happen. So we already know the economic aspect behind these holidays. So that's not something I really need to touch on. But yeah, we talked about that Bacchanalian celebration, man. When they used to come together, them Romans getting sloppy drunk around the same time. It was a festival. It was a festival. And they used to sacrifice pigs and things of that nature. So they sacrificing pigs. They getting sloppy drunk, beating their wives, engaging in homosexual acts. Like, come on, this is what we celebrate. This is what we celebrate subconsciously. So we need to do the knowledge to that history. Terenzo, what's going on? Why would you want to celebrate something and not know the origin? Not know the true origin behind it? Why are you celebrating something without doing the knowledge to it? We got to stop doing that, man, because subconsciously you giving them that energy. Subconsciously, when you worshiping their deities on a subconscious level, man, you giving them power. So that's what's happening on the subconscious level, man. We giving them power when we celebrate their days, because these are not days. These days have nothing to do with us. These days have nothing to do with us. Like they got us rocking with things like a Christmas tree, like I talked about, that Jeremiah 10:3 told you the origins of that, told you how evil it is to have that Christmas tree in the crib, why you shouldn't be doing it. Then even when it comes to like the mistletoe, the origin behind the mistletoe. It's a lot of history behind the mistletoe, but the mistletoe is not necessarily something romantic when you do the knowledge to it. When you do the knowledge to it, what is it? I think it was like the Danish folklore. When I think one of their most beloved goddesses, or one of their most beloved deity. I said goddess. It was one of their most beloved deities. I think the name was like Balder or something like that. Balder. This deity was slain. And the weapon of choice had something to do with the mistletoe. So it's almost equivalent to people wearing a cross. Your savior was crucified on this cross. Why are you rocking around with something that symbolizes death? That's what the mistletoe was used to kill. The mistletoe, the sprig of the mistletoe was used to kill. So why you think the mistletoe is something that's romantic? No, do the knowledge to the history behind it. Do the knowledge to the history behind it. These are things that we cannot make up. This is just history. This is history. This is history, man. Do the knowledge to the origin of the mistletoe. Do the knowledge to that Danish folklore that I'm talking about. Balder, and just type in Balder mistletoe, and that's gonna come up, man. And you could do the knowledge to that, because a lot of people think you just start making stuff up when you start talking about these holidays, and they make you out to be a Grinch, things of that nature. No, I'm not necessarily upset. I'm not angry. I'm just speaking the truth about these days that we celebrate, about these days that we hold in high regard. Got to know the truth about what we celebrating. We got to. That's important, because we teaching children the wrong things. Too many times I'm hearing people talk about this is the birthday. We already know that that's a lie. So we gotta speak the truth. We gotta get the truth out here to the people. We gotta get the truth out here to the babies. Internet piece, what's going on? And so I talked about the mistletoe being used as a weapon of assassination, a murder weapon. So the origin behind the mistletoe, it being a murder weapon. So what about the chimney? Where did the chimney come from? Where did that whole concept come from? Somebody coming down your chimney with some gifts and things of that nature, and then cold for the naughty children, for the children that ain't been acting right. Where did that come from in regards to their mythology? Because again, we got to understand who gave us these holidays. We didn't give ourselves these days. They gave us these days. So of course, their origins are going to be behind it. So when you look at the chimney, you got to go to the Norse beliefs. They had a goddess that was named Hartha, and basically this goddess entered their huts via the chimney. Then you go back to the Italians. They had, I think it was a deity, but I think this may have been something like a folklore, like a story that they told. But I think the deity, or the witch was named, what was the name? Let me see. I think it's La Befana. It's an old witch. It was an old witch. This is Italian mythology. An old witch that came down the chimney with gifts. Old witch that came down the chimney with some gifts. And come on, this is the type of stuff we celebrate. This is the type of stuff we celebrate. This is the type of stuff that we teaching these children. We're not giving them the full story and the full history. Come on now. Old witch coming down the chimney with some gifts, and then that same witch left the code for the children that were naughty. So that's where we getting some of this stuff from. This same old witch that I'm talking about. Same old witch. The name, you can type it in, Labefana, old witch. Gonna be tied to the Italians. Old witch that came down the chimney with some gifts and left the code for the children that were naughty. So y'all say y'all don't fool with witchcraft, yet we celebrate things that have witchcraft tied to the origin. But we don't fool with the pagans. We don't fool with witchcraft. Why are we celebrating these days that involve witchcraft in regards to their origins? Come on now. And I'm gonna give y'all one better. When we talk about Saint Nick, man, I know y'all know the history behind Saint Nick and how it originally was Old Nick. And I'm gonna give y'all a good jewel right here. Old Nick, listen to me carefully. Old Nick, back in the day, that was synonymous with old devil. Old Nick, y'all can look this up. And I think this ties into the Christians. Old Nick is synonymous with old devil. That's what Old Nick was associated with. Old Nick was associated with old devil. What was this old devil? What was this old Nick? Who was this old devil? Who was this old Nick? It was a very stern person that rode across the frozen waste on basically Satan's goat and left a whip instead of the toys for the children. So that's what old Nick, and this is tied into the origin of a Saint Nick. But old Nick was associated with old devil. And that was, like I said, that was a stern person that rode across the frozen waste, the goats of Satan, and left whips instead of the toys for the children. And we celebrating that. We celebrating that. You celebrating that, whether or not you acknowledge it consciously or not, like you celebrating that on a subconscious level. Every time you acknowledge this day, every time you celebrate this day, every time you embrace this day. So that old Nick, aka old devil, evolved into Saint Nick. That's where we got Saint Nick from. It evolved from the old Nick, the old devil. That's where that evolved from. So y'all call it Saint Nick, but that evolved from old Nick, which was old devil. And then even Saint Nick, like the origin behind that, even or the history and the science behind Saint Nick, even Saint Nick is tied to something that revolves around the devil or a devil. Even Saint Nick itself, that name in and of itself. I think when it goes back to Saint Nick, I think you are like the bishop of like Myra. And I think that was like in Turkey. And the way that they described him, he rode around the gray horse, the white jackass, and that was symbolic in Egyptian terminology, or to the Egyptians, that was symbolic to the devil. So when you trace the origin of that Saint Nick, what it evolved to, and you trace the origin down to the Egyptians, you're going to get the devil. You're going to get a devil. You're going to get something that's associated with the devil or a devil or something evil. And Terenzo, and I was just about to get in that. You've heard people call them Satan claws and things like that. So like that's kind of why it's almost similar. That's why Santa and Satan are pretty similar. People call it a coincidence. Well, there are no such things as coincidences. So that's why Santa and Satan are sort of similar, because the origin of all of the names that we refer to them as have something to do with a devil. So that's why the name Santa and Satan are pretty similar. Similar. That's why it's like that. That's why it's like that. So we out here celebrating some wickedness, man. We out here celebrating some wickedness, and some of us are doing it consciously. Some of us are doing it unconsciously. But like, what's the point? And why are we lying to these children, man? Just tell them the truth. Just tell them the truth. Oh, John Sims, it's a lot to touch on in regards to that. It's a lot. And yeah, Tavon, yeah, we definitely, it's definitely crazy how the lack of awareness. And what makes it even crazier in the age that we are in is how easy it is to actually do the research. We all sit on these smartphones. I mean, literally, we sit on these smartphones almost all day. But when it comes to things like this, we don't do an ounce of research. We don't do an ounce of research. We don't ask ourselves, why do I celebrate Christmas? Let me just type this on this smartphone, because we don't want to know the truth. We don't want to know that truth. Once we find out that truth, now we're accountable. Now we got to act on that truth. People don't want to know the truth. They don't want to get their feelings hurt. They don't want to get their feelings hurt. And Tavon, I was just about to get into that. As a song says, like Cam, he got that song Holiday Madness. The kids can't miss, the kids won't miss what they never known. He can't miss what he ain't never known, is what he said in the song. So the kids can't miss nothing that they were never introduced to. So like the adults are the ones introducing the lies to the children and then blaming it on the children in regards to why they continue to celebrate the madness. If you would have never introduced it to the child, then they wouldn't have anything to miss. So that's on us. That's on the adult. That's on the adults. Like, don't blame the children. Don't say, well, I celebrate this day because of the children. I celebrate this day because of the kids. No, sir. Like, you introduced it to them. They can't miss what they ain't never known, as the song says. So as long as we continue to introduce them to these traditions, then that's our fault. That's the fault of the adults. So we ain't gonna blame the children. We ain't gonna blame the children, man. It ain't really that. It ain't that deep. It ain't as deep as we think. Especially when you make every day special. When you make every day special for the seeds, then these type of days ain't really that important. So when you tell them the truth about this day, man, then you make every other day a beautiful experience for your children. You're not harming them. You're not hurting them. Magic Realms Codex Magica doesn't talk about the origin of the holidays, but I got a book right here that is crucial. Get this book right here, African People and European Holidays of Mental Genocide. Ashaka Musa Barashango, Rest in Power to the Ancestor. This is a fabulous book. But African People and European Holidays of Mental Genocide, that's book one. It's 2 books of this, man. I read both of them. But Ashaka Musa Barashango, those 2 books, or these 2 books, they lay into the holidays, give you all the origins of every holiday. So it's crazy. And like I said, a lot of people getting their feelings, man. It's hard to be this type of person, man. It's hard to be the black sheep when it's around this time, because a lot of people come at your neck because you just want to spit the truth about the so-called holidays. It ain't about ruining fun, man. It's about spitting the truth. To me, the truth is fun. Learning the truth is exciting to me. So that's not really spoiling something for me. Learning the truth is an experience, and it's a fun experience for me. So I don't see anything negative or pessimistic behind just speaking the truth. Just letting you know the origin behind the day. Why would you not want to know the origin behind the day? Like, why would you not want to know the origin behind the Cynthia for Wisdom? Peace, what's going on with you? So yeah, we lying to the children, then we blaming the children. So we got to stop doing that, man. It's a lot. Like I said, it's wicked origins to most of these days, and we celebrating these days. We worshiping the pagans. We worshiping things like witches and all that, but then we act like we don't. We act like we don't. If I came out on the surface and I talked about any other guy other than a Christian guy, we finna have a problem. But you celebrating a day that has pagan origins. So who's really the bad person? Who's really the bad person? The underdog mentality. Peace, what's going on? So who's really the bad person, man? And Funge the Observer, that's exactly where I'm at with it. That's exactly where I'm at with it. We talk about these people all the time and what they did to our ancestors, yet we continue to embrace everything that they bring to us. We continue to embrace everything that they bring to us. Dominique, man, most definitely. And like they say, the truth shall set you free. Definitely shall set you free. And I like freedom. I like being liberated. And that's what the truth does for me. I don't like being in the dark. I don't like being in the dark when it comes to certain things, man. When it comes to anything for that matter, man. If I can find it out, I'm striving to find it out. So I'm not a fan of being in the dark. I'm not a fan of being in the unknown. I need to know something, man. Especially when it's something simple, like, man, why we? And as kids, they gonna ask that. Every kid I done been around, when it came to Christmas, man, they always ask, like, why do we celebrate Christmas? What is Christmas? They ask these questions, and that's why I get so frustrated, because then that's when we start lying to them. That's when we start lying to them. That's when that ignorance comes out. I'd rather people just come out and say, man, we celebrate these days because they told us to celebrate it. Because that's really what it is. That's really what it is. Funge the Observer, I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with you on that. And Travian most definitely. And then what's crazy is some people know. Some people know they in the dark and just don't care. Some people know they in the dark and just don't care. It's almost like when I'm like dealing in the fitness industry, I've had some people literally tell me they would rather not like know what's wrong with them. Because if they find out what's wrong with them, like if they find out that they got a cancer or something along those lines, it'll stress them out. Nikki, peace, what's going on? I'm like, nah, I need to know what's wrong with it so I can know how to cure it. I don't like, why would you want to be in the dark in regards to your health? But I've had plenty of people tell me that they'd rather not know what's wrong with them. They'd rather not know what's wrong with them because they feel like they'll be stressed out once they find out what's actually wrong with them. Once they find out it's a cancer, once they find out it's an STD or whatever the case may be. So I've had a bunch of people tell me they'd rather not know what's wrong with them. That's interesting. I would definitely need to know what's wrong with me so I can know how to treat it and cure it. So that's exactly why I need to know the origin behind the days, just like the days of the week, man. Y'all already know the pagan origins behind the days of the week. Like even the science behind Friday, man. What's the pagan god for Friday? It's like Freya or something, or Frigga. And that's like the goddess of love. So just think about how they did it to us. Like they got us worshiping the day that the origin behind that day is the goddess of love. And Friday, what's associated with Friday is payday. That's the day where we go out here and we act crazy. So just think about it, man. Just think about how everything is connected, man. Just think about how everything is connected. You got Friday. Then when you trace it back, you going back to pagan gods and goddesses, the goddess of love and things of that nature. And then just look what's typically associated with Friday. Just the energy behind a Friday. That's all about design. That's all about design. That's all about design, man. It ain't the Friday. That Friday ain't payday, and it ain't associated with the goddess of love for no reason. You happy. It's payday. You happy. You excited. Yeah, Dominique, and that's great. At this point in time, man, it's a choice. It's like health. I mean, it's really health. Being healthy is a choice. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's the same as health. Like basically being ignorant, man. Like health, you choose to be healthy and you choose to be unhealthy, and that's just a fact. A lot of people don't want to admit that because they think a lot of things run in their family. They just think that they susceptible to certain diseases and ailments. Now you have a choice. You have a choice to be healthy. You have a choice to be healthy, but we just choose to be unhealthy. And we blame it on things like genetics. Nah, what they say, genetics just load the gun, your lifestyle pull the trigger. So all these things revolve around choices that we make. Same with being in the dark, pertaining to these holidays, man, and all this type of nonsense, all the lies and fabrications that they sell us. You choosing to be in the dark, you choosing to remain ignorant, you choosing to be ignorant. And that can have some strong consequences behind it. Oh, Jamar, man, when you look at the school system, it is almost identical to the prison system. Even the food that they used to feed us back in the day was like, it resembled prison food, man. We used to eat some trash food back in the day, back in elementary school. So all of that is a mere reflection of the prison system. Adrian, peace, what's going on? So it's a mere reflection of that prison system. Just think about how they had us, man, way back in the day when they had us standing, when they had me, when I was back in school, had us standing up, hand over the chest, singing the Pledge of Allegiance and all that, man. They just had us. They had us. They was making us do whatever it is and they show and prove that power a lot, how they could just make us do whatever it is that they want to make us do. They had us as children just reciting the Pledge of Allegiance like, you know what I mean? Just looking back on it, that's crazy. I was out here reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to a country that ain't never cared about me. Looking at a flag that ain't never cared anything about me. Like, that ain't my flag. That ain't the flag of my people. And I was out here right hand over the heart saying the Pledge of Allegiance. And then they penalize you when you take a knee or you sit down during the national anthem. Again, when you look at that third verse for the national anthem and it talks about slavery, it talks about what was happening to my people at that time. Why would I stand for something like that? But then when you sit down for something like that, now you disrespectful and things of that nature. All the disrespect my people endured. And if I want to sit down for a national anthem, you mean to tell me that makes you emotional? Come on now. Oh, Brandy, man, don't get me started on that. Don't get me started on some of the things that I have tried to get people to do in regards to diabetes to basically help reverse the diabetes. And they just act like they can't do it. These doctors got a lot of people all messed up out here. And I got some people that act like they cannot get off their medication. So when I tell them to do certain things, they like they can't do it. I done tried to get people to fast that were on diabetes. And I'm telling you, I'm like, man, I got plenty of research, plenty of books that's letting you know one of the best ways to reverse diabetes is to practice intermittent fasting. And to work your way up to doing a 24-hour fast. They're like, well, I can't do that. My doctor said I can't fast. I said, because that doctor is trying to keep you sick. That doctor is trying to keep you in there on that insulin. That's what the doctor is striving to do. That's why they're going to tell you that you can't fast. They're not going to tell you that fasting is a cure. Heck, the doctor that's treating you may have diabetes themselves. Terenzo, most definitely. Ricky Peace, what's going on? Plant God, they got everybody. Not only do they got everybody wearing a mask, but they got everybody reciting a reason for wearing a mask. They straight got people believing, like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. The psychological slavery behind it, man. The psychological manipulation. Just look how quick that all transpired, man. They told you, they came out, told you to wear a mask. Then they told you the mask wasn't doing nothing. Then they came back and told you, no, we need to wear the mask. And they told you the reason behind wearing the mask. And everybody started reciting that, regurgitating it. M Reaper 773. That's one reason why it's called medical practice. And then that's another reason why they call everything a treatment. Because they just treating it. And they're not even doing a good job at really treating it. But if you come out as a doctor, literally, if you come out as a doctor and you striving to heal people, you can lose your license and all that type of good stuff. You can lose a certification when they find out that you out here healing people holistically. That's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. Just like when you come out and you start speaking the truth about holidays and all of that, man, they try to shun that. They try to silence that because they don't want that truth getting out. They need to make their money. Just think about the money that would be lost if you boycotted this day, if you didn't spend money. Or just think about another thing. If instead of spending money with them, man, you spent money with black businesses. That's one thing I do. That's one thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spend the money with black businesses. And man, if you gotta buy somebody a gift, man, just spend it on a black business. Just break bread with a black business. And that's how you give the gifts to your people. So that way you can use their day to an advantage. Mine as well, man. That's a good way to use this day as an advantage. Just go ahead and support a black business. If you got family members, man, and you really don't want to be that eyeball and you just feel the need to get them some gifts, support a black business. Simple and plain. Buy black. This should be the time period. This should be the time period where we make black businesses wealthy right here. There's plenty of black businesses that offer a lot of things that you can get to people as gifts. So this should be the time period right now where instead of making Walmart and Target and all these type of stores rich and wealthy, we should be making these black businesses rich and wealthy. Like, period. It's real simple. It's real simple. We finna waste all this money. We finna spend hundreds of dollars. We finna spend hundreds of dollars with these white corporations. You can spend those same hundreds of dollars with a black business, with a black corporation. D Monty Peach, what's going on? CCH, what's going on? Oh, Jamar, most definitely. And I tell people that all the time, man. They just basically, that's all that they striving to do. They're striving to prolong your life so that they can make more money off of you. So they need to keep you alive and sick for a longer period of time. so they can make more money off of you by prescribing you all this medication and keeping you in the hospital and all that type of good stuff, giving you the radiation. Man, I got so much information, man. Like even in regards to like my black women out here during pregnancy, things like ultrasound and how ultrasounds can actually be harmful to the baby. Like ultrasounds, man, that's something that they don't teach people. They got people getting ultrasounds. They got the women getting ultrasounds. They got people happy to get the ultrasounds, but they're not telling you the side effects of the ultrasound. And it can result in some birth defects. Man. It's ultrasound. That's some information that I'm going to save for other videos. But, man, it's just a lot of things like that they don't teach people. And things that we can't wait to do, that we can't wait to indulge in, are actually harming us. Oh, D Monty Magic, no doubt. You already know. That's where my people reside from the South. But yeah, man, it's so much misinformation out here, man. So many things that we indulge in, and we don't know how harmful it actually is. Some of the things we actually know how harmful it is, but some of the stuff we don't know. Some of the stuff we literally don't know. So we got to stop walking into these traps, man. We got to stop walking into our own death. Man, Jamar, I'm gonna give you, and this may be TMI, this may be some gross information that y'all don't want to hear. But even along those lines, some of y'all may already know this. But man, when you have a bowel movement, like the way that they have toilets set up, like that's actually an abnormal way to have a bowel movement. Like it's a certain way that you should be having a bowel movement, and the way they got toilets set up, like we actually having bowel movements the incorrect way. Little stuff like that, they don't even teach us. You actually might have to, like the toilets pretty much for the most part, you might have to have like a little stool while you're engaging in a bowel movement in order to do it properly. So it's little things like that, man. It's just a lot of little small things, man. They got us deviating so far from like our true nature that it is crazy. Hey, I mean, they literally have us deviating so far from our true nature that it is ridiculous. Like small things that we doing incorrectly, and we don't realize how harmful it is to us. Little small things, man. We just don't realize it. So that's why I tell a lot of people, man. A lot of people be like, "Oh, I'm eating right, but I'm still experiencing these problems." I mean, it's a lot that can contribute to an imbalance. It's a lot of things, man. It's a lot of things that they got out here that can contribute to an imbalance, man. It's just a lot of ways that they poison us. Even like I said, I talked about it in one video. The water that we shower with, that water is toxic for the most part, man. So we got to find like ionizers and things to purify the shower water. Even some of the fabric on the clothing that we wear can get inside the skin and cause problems because it's toxic, man. Like just think about it. The radiation from some of these electronic devices can be killing us. Just think about it, man. Just think about it. It's a lot of different ways, man, that they really literally killing us. So that's why I tell people, man, eating good, eating healthy is just one part of the equation, man. It's a lot of things that you got to watch out for in regards to your overall health and well-being. We already know that they pollute the air. We already know about chemtrails and all that type of stuff. So we know that that's happening. We know that the air is polluted. We know that the air is toxic. We already know that. So there's no need to talk about that. And we already know about the tap water. And we already know about the bottled water, which is basically just tap water. So we already know about most bottled waters. Terenzo, appreciate the donation. And that neuro-linguistic programming, man, I need to bring my books out on that. Because like I said, that stuff was powerful. That stuff was powerful. Yeah, plant God, and yeah, the whole baby, the process of giving birth. Man, it's a lot of information on that type of stuff, man. That's just negative. And a lot of women don't even know it. Of course, they got to keep the women in the dark. So then when you come out, and the crazy thing about it is when you come out and you strive to educate the women in regards to that, they act like you don't know what you're talking about because they done been lied to for so long. Yeah, D Monty Magic. Yeah, like, and a lot of people, man, be experiencing like allergies or certain type of reactions, and they be trying to figure out where it's coming from. It could be coming from the clothes that you got on. It could be coming from the detergent that you use. Seriously, man, it's a lot. They got a lot of poisons. They got poisons and a lot of things out here, man, under the radar. Under the radar. Oh yeah, the birthing chair. Yeah. Now just think about that. Now how many of our women are giving birth using a birthing chair, like that process? Original One Piece, what's going on? Adrian, when it comes to water, you can either do a gallon a day or half your body weight in ounces. MR Reaper, back up. Yep. Yeah, plant God, and they don't. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's that big biological, big psychological warfare. Like that's where it's at. That's where the fight is at. We be looking at it on the surface level. I'm like, man, it's more psychological. It's more biological. They killing us in ways that we don't even know. So we going out there protesting. We fighting a physical enemy. They fight. It's an invisible war going out. It's that mental war. It's that mental war that's going out. They killing us with the unseen science, the atoms, the electrons, like they killing us on that level. They killing us on that level, and we trying to fight them on the physical level. Nah. Original One, no doubt, man. We just, like I said, we just getting started. We just getting warmed up with this channel. We just getting warmed up. Kevin, appreciate the donation. D Monty Magic, what are the dark influences that you're dealing with? Because for the most part, when it comes to getting away from dark influences, I tend to embrace the dark influence. That's the way that I actually get away from it. I embrace it. I embrace that dark side. I embrace that dark influence. I just embrace it as a part of myself, and I don't separate it from myself. And as odd as that may sound, it actually helps me deal with them better. But it just depends on what the influence is, though. The influence that you're talking about. Plant guy hit the jewel, man. They study us and they know us better than we know ourselves. Exactly. And that was their mission from day one. That was their mission from day one. We talk about that in the lessons, man. They had to study the original man. They studied the original man. They went to our mystery schools. That's what we got to do. And that's one thing, like y'all know I've been talking about the knowledge game, but that's one thing I'm striving to do with the knowledge game. We got to get back to the mystery school system. We got to get back to Renzo talking about sacred geometry. We got to get back to sacred information. We got to get back to doing the knowledge to some things and not sharing this information with them. So we got to get back to that. So we got to get back. We got to create our own societies. We got to create our own societies. We got to get back to it like our ancestors moved. But the thing of it this time, we can't allow them to come into the society and learn what it is that we know. And then they take it and they use it they teach their people it. Then they come back. Then they kill us. And then they take what they learn from us and then fabricate it, manipulate it, and twist it. So we can't allow them we can't keep doing that. So we got to stop teaching them what it is that we know. So we got to come together. We got to get back to that. We got to get back to the mystery school system. Meeting in secret, discussing certain things in secret, and not letting them in on that information. Mello, I'll put the cash out in the chat there. But it's simple, man. Cash App is just $ Eric Bell 7. So ERICBELL 7. Jamar, we gonna see. That's one thing. I'm not gonna touch on it now because I'm gonna talk about that when we meet up. When I do the little workshop that I'm gonna do summer next year. We can't have them knowing. We can't have them knowing the symbols. See, just like they move in secrecy and they deal with symbolism, we got to deal with that too. We got to deal with it on a righteous manner. But I ain't gonna announce the language. But you got to create your own language out here. or MR Reaper, yeah, and they cut the nose off the Sphinx and all that. So they burned that library down. And I don't know if you all did the knowledge to Professor Griff, but Professor Griff said that that's what happened to him, man. They basically burned his crib down where he had all his books. This was some years ago. So that's one thing I'm on the lookout for, man, because I got a lot of books on me. So that's one thing I got to do. I got to strive to protect my books. So at the end of the day, when they see people start spitting certain information and they know that person got a lot of books at their disposal, you may see things like they house mysteriously burned down while they not in it. Books gone. Anytime where there's a lot of books that can educate black people, they gonna try to burn that down, especially when they don't have control over that. So like I got a lot of books, man. I got a valuable library, man. So I got to make sure I protect that. Oh, Z John, man, we got so, man, we so infatuated with the whiteness and the Eurocentric way of life that is ridiculous, man. And that's really what's killing us. We striving to eat like them. We striving to live like them. We striving to be like them. Like I'm not striving to do that. I'm not striving to be like them. I'm not striving to eat like them. Like this is part of the reason why we are destroying ourselves. Yeah, D Monty Magic, and with the knowledge game, my objective, we creating our own brotherhood. Like I'm at the point now where I ain't trying to, we ain't trying to get in anybody else's mix. It's time to just create a new one. It's time to be innovative, man. It's time to just create our own. So it's time to create our own brotherhood and sisterhood and go from there. But this time we just can't let them in on it. It's almost like we just can't let them in on it. We can't be breaking, but we can't be setting up deals, partnerships, and all that type of sponsorship. We can't be dealing with them like that. We can't be dealing with them like that. I mean, it is what it is. We need to just have some stuff like that of our own. Again, like I don't have, it ain't necessarily, and people hear this type of stuff called racism, which I cannot stand that. At the end of the day, I'm just saying, let us have our own thing. Let us have our own. That's all we ask for. Like y'all, the moment y'all find the moment white people tend to find their way into something, that's when it becomes corrupted. Because it's a power trip at that point. It's hard for them to just exist within like a group and not try to be the head of the group and not try to be the master of the group. So that's why you just can't let them in, man, because they infiltrate and they're going to try to bring it down. They're going to try to bring it down slowly. They're going to corrupt it slowly. So you really ain't got to be doing that. All fun game, yeah, most definitely. Yeah, MR Reaper, man. I'm gonna tell y'all how prepared I was back in the day, and I got to get back on it. But yeah, the hard drives, like the backup drives, used to have that. Man, I don't know if you all keep a survival kit, man, but I used to have a survival kit. Like I used to rack up on canned goods. Like every other week or so, I buy so many canned goods, and you would just have like jugs of water because I was prepared. Like I was ready. Like if things pop off, I'm gonna have a nice supply of canned goods for a moment, man, to keep me afloat. I had my survival kit ready, but I got off of that though, man. But I was ready. I was ready for stuff to go down. This was like 10 years ago, man. I straight was having my survival kit ready, man. I was buying canned goods, water. Then I had like my knives and all that type of stuff, man. But we need to have a survival kit because you never know. You never know. So I'm gonna get back on that survival kit. So if things get crazy, I'm ready. So stay ready so we ain't got to get ready. Brandon, peace. What's going on? Quez, what's going on with you? Yeah, John, that's a pretty solid idea. That's a pretty solid idea. I'm gonna put that up there, man, John. That's a pretty solid idea. I might have to think about doing that. Oh, playing God, most definitely. Yeah, you got Terminator seeds and things of that nature, man. They doing too much with nature, man. They try to manipulate and control nature. You ain't supposed to try to manipulate and control nature. You're supposed to be one with nature. So they striving to control, manipulate nature and all of that type of stuff. So then, therefore, now nature becomes destructive because now you modify nature. Or MR Reaper, man, anybody that's still connected to their ancient culture, man, like they way ahead. They way ahead. And that's why we tend to have problems, man, because we've been disconnected from that original culture, man, from that ancient culture. Then when people start building on that ancient culture, then we have a problem. We have a problem. And that's how they got us. They got us good. Monty Magic, you know what's crazy? They destroying a lot of things, but there are safe places. And sometimes they meet up in these safe places. So when you start seeing some of these wealthy people flee to that safe place, then that's when you know some things may go down where we at. I think one of the places, if I'm not mistaken, I think Switzerland is one of the safe places. Them wealthy people, a lot of times they meet in Switzerland. I think I was doing some knowledge, and I think Switzerland is one of those safe places. So when things go down here, then a lot of them will be in Switzerland. That's one of the safe places that I did the knowledge to. So they basically all around Switzerland is going to be destroyed, but Switzerland is supposed to be a safe place because pretty much that's probably how they designed it. But I know I did the knowledge to Switzerland. That's why they have a lot of meetings, a lot of secret meetings. They go to Switzerland. So Switzerland is definitely one of their safe places. So that's where they're gonna flock to. When you start seeing all them wealthy people all of a sudden all flocking to Switzerland, some going down. Some going down. Monty Magic, you know I live by the hemp seeds. I live by the hemp seeds. But they preserving what they want to preserve. They preserving what they want to preserve. Like they definitely preserving what they want to preserve. So it's a lot of things that's going on behind closed doors that we got to be mindful of. And again, that's when they throw the term conspiracy theorists out there. I don't really like that term because a lot of the stuff that they consider a conspiracy theory is an actual fact. And it's things that have been proven. They just want to make you look like a quack. They want to make you look like you're crazy on the surface so people won't believe you. So they label you a conspiracy theorist and things of that nature. When a lot of this stuff is really easy to prove, really easy. Yeah, God Body 1988. And we got to come up with the safe place. So we got to create a safe place for us. Like they got their safe place. So when things get too destructive, because they know what they doing in nature, they know that they destroying nature. So when nature say, all right, we finna act a certain type of way, they going to their safe place, man. We got to have a safe place. So and that's why I say unification. But they already knew though. They already knew that unification is the key. Like I said, that's why they made everything dysfunctional. That's why they made everything dysfunctional. They had a big hand in making everything dysfunctional. And we can never ignore the role that they played in making everything dysfunctional amongst us. We can never ignore that role. Because even something as simple as like a ghetto or the projects, we can show and prove how they constructed those environments. So a lot of times we looking at it like, oh, we killing one another, we killing each other. But then when you do the knowledge to the actual projects and the situation and how it actually came about, you will see the science behind it, and you will see the role that they played in it. You will see how they did the project or the experiment on the rats. Had them fighting over that cheese, had them killing each other over that small piece of food in there. They knew that was gonna happen, man. So they knew if they place them in this area and they take all the funding away from that area and don't give them any type of jobs and things of that nature, and then make them dependent on the government for the food, for a little bit of money, then they gonna start killing one another. I mean, they did this study on animals, so it ain't no surprise that when you do it on something that's close to an animal, humans, then the same result happens. Come on now. This just ain't us waking up deciding to kill one another. Nah, this is us being discriminated against. This is us being in impoverished neighborhoods because there's no funding. This is us striving to want to get some jobs, but we can't get them. So now we out here we need to feed our family. So we finna do some illegal activities. We indulging in illegal activities. Then we getting caught, locked up and all that type of nonsense. Then we just tired of it. And now it's just time to kill somebody. And we gonna kill the person closest to us. So that's just the science behind that, man. Like, that's by design. That's by design. We ain't just wake up and say, I'm tired of black people, I'm finna just start killing my own people. No. Come on, man. Just think about the mentality that's being created, being constructed. And again, there are exceptions to the rule. Plenty of people make it out of those situations, but the majority don't. It's always that one success story out of all those bad neighborhoods, man. Y'all already know how I go. Y'all know how I go. When you got those projects, when you got those experiments, when you got those rough neighborhoods, you usually have one or two success stories. Everybody else, though, they indulging in those illegal activities. Yeah, God by, and that's what it is. So it's win-win for them. And heck, I'm gonna give you another one. I'm gonna give you another way it's a win. Even you got to add a third win. It's a win-win-win for them. So half of us die, and then let's say 99, like, wait a minute. Okay, so 50% of us gonna die. 49% of us will go to the prison. Then that 1% that actually succeeds, guess what we doing to succeed? The way that we are succeeding is still making them wealthy. So even the 1% that make it out of the ghetto that they constructed, that 1% probably going to be a rapper. And that rapper probably going to be spending all his money with the white corporations. Matter of fact, that back in the day, that rapper used to be owned by that white corporation, by that white label. Or they putting the music out on white platforms. Whatever the case may be, they still benefiting off of our success. So even when we make it out of that ghetto or that project, they still are benefiting from that. So they just win all across the board. They win all across the board. Even when we succeed, they still win. Yeah, D Monty Magic, and then like that whole middle class situation. Like, people get real comfortable. The middle class, like, that's a dangerous class to be in. It's a dangerous class to be in, because people, we tend to get comfortable with being slaves. We say, oh man, Whitey gave us a pretty decent job. I'm cool with it. I'm gonna work this job for 40 years, and we don't realize we being pimped because we may be making a decent amount of money annually. So when they gave you that decent paying job, now you looking at them a little differently. You're like, oh, well, it ain't too bad. They paying me this. Nah, they still got you. They still got you, fam. Yeah, it's definitely all programming. Definitely all programming. And I try to tell people that, man, it's all programming. It's all programming. It's 100% programming. So we at times, we don't really understand what we up against. A lot of times, a lot of us making decisions that we think we making on a conscious level. Nah, they got those subliminal messages. that's sunk into the subconscious, and that's what's actually influencing your decisions. So you're not making these decisions on your own. You was influenced to make the decision that you're making, and they influenced you to make that decision, and you don't even know it. You don't even know it through subliminal messaging. You don't even know it. They using things like color coding because they know certain colors resonate with certain emotions. So they may make things a certain color. They may make things a certain scent. See, they know all this type of stuff, man. How I know? Because it's marketing. I study marketing. So it's like they make things a certain color. They place the placement in the store. They may place a product in a certain position in the store because they know you most likely to buy it. If they make their logo look a certain type of way, they know you more than likely to buy that because of what's resonating. And it's all happening on a subconscious level. That's why they do the things that they do. Dominique, and that's what I try to tell people. Even people on the middle class, man, it's just like how long. It was a question that came out that said, man, how long could you survive if your job fired you today, like right now? People that's in that middle class boat, they probably would not be able to live that. They would not be able to survive and thrive that long if their job let them go today. Most people are living check to check, even those in the middle class. MR Reaper, man, it goes a lot. It goes deep. Like I said, man, I want to do some on the little Bilderberg group because those meetings are very interesting that they be having. Those meetings be real interesting. Oh yeah, yeah, we did, man. I agree. Rocco, we definitely make it too easy. We definitely make it too easy. Because for one, we get on social media and we announce everything. Some things better left unsaid. Our original one, so you right, graphic design, marketing, that's hand in hand. So you already know. So I was learning those things. I was like, that's crazy. I mean, it's all manipulation. They got to manipulate you in some way, shape, or form to get you to buy their product or service. So it's manipulation. That's all marketing really is. That's all marketing really is, man. So for these corporations to get you to buy their product or service, like they got to manipulate your mind. Oh, Dominique, yeah, man. They did it to a lot of people, man. When we value ownership, man, they don't like that. They don't like not having their hand in the mix in some way, shape, or form. They do not like that. They do not appreciate that. They do not appreciate that. They need it. They need to have a percentage. They need to have their hand in the mix in some way, shape, or form. So when you say, nah, I'm eliminating that middleman, they got to do something. They got to do something to you. And the Shawnee banks and people don't understand. Just historically speaking, see a lot of people think, again, y'all know me being a 5%. A lot of people hear us say white man associate that with devil. That ain't something that we just created. And then when you do the knowledge to the word devil and the origin, it means deceiver. Deceiver. Like when you trace the origin of that word deceiver, the great deceiver, there has not been a greater deceiver of the people than that white man. Like that's where we got that from. That's where we get it from. That trick knowledge that we talk about. So a lot of people hear devil and then they feel some type of way thinking about we talking about it in a religious sense. Nah, we great deceiver, deception, manipulator. Those are the words that are associated with that devil. Even when you study it in a biblical term, that's what you're going to come away with. You're going to come away with a deceiver, manipulator. That's what we associate with the word devil. Historically speaking, you can tie that to a certain group of people. And that's just a fact. Oh, Dominique, most definitely, man. They are fire, man. Listen, ain't no, like I always say, no such thing as job security. They'll fire you for the smallest thing, man. When it's just time to get rid of you, they gonna get rid of you. They'll fire you for the smallest thing, man. They do not care about you. Point blank, period. What Michael Jackson say, speaking to Michael Jackson, they don't really care about us. They don't care about us. Tupac said something similar. Oh yeah, we already democracy. We already know that type of stuff is trash and an illusion. For one, when we got up, when we used to get up and stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance, they told you to the republic for which it stands. So they already letting you know what it is. They already letting you know what it is. And Terenzo with the breakdown of dictatorship, most definitely. You can learn a lot when you just break the words down. In Reaper, I ain't even concerned about it. I probably already have been Nick Cannon. I was Nick Cannon before people even knew me, probably because of the stuff that I was talking about, before a lot of people even knew what I was on and knew who I was. So if anything, they just keep some information or some videos like this under the radar. But it's crazy how they be making those brothers apologize real quick when they start speaking the truth. They make them apologize. They make them apologize. Oh, Nathan Berry, man, I built on that probably for about the first 30 minutes of this video. So definitely rewind the video back once it's done. But man, I just touched on a lot of different things in regards to Christmas. Man, I talked about how like the what we know as Saint Nick, how it started off as Old Nick, which was associated with Old Devil. And I talked about what that actually meant, like who was Old Nick, who was Old Devil. And that was somebody who basically rode around through the frozen waste on like Satan's goats, giving out whips instead of toys to the children. And that evolved into Saint Nick. But then when you even trace the origin back to Saint Nick and you trace it back to the Egyptians, that means the devil and things of that nature. So it's like we worship and stuff like that. And I talked about the mistletoe and how basically the mistletoe was used as a weapon of assassination. So it basically symbolic to the cross. And then I talked about Saturnalia. I talked about that celebration, which is basically where we got December 25th from, and how that was basically a Roman festival, what they call it, a Bacchanalian. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Bacchanalian celebration, celebrating the birth of the Roman god of harvest, which was Saturn. They believe that B-Day to be. They believe that to be the birthday of the Roman god of harvest, Saturn. So they had a little festival. The original days of the festival was like December 17th through like the 23rd. Then it was extended to the 24th and 25th. And basically during that celebration or during that festival, you had these Romans doing crazy things like getting drunk, stripping naked, indulging in homosexual acts with one another, then going home, beating up on their wives and things of that nature, sacrificing pigs, all type of little nonsense that we claim that we don't worship and fool with. But they was doing these things during that celebration, during that festival. And then how you had the Nicaea Council, which is basically when they came up. You had what, Constantine and all the boys, that's when they came together, had a meeting, and they wanted to destroy the mystery or get rid of the confusion in regards to the birth of Christ. So they settled on December 25th because they already had a festival going on during that time. So they said, we just going to replace the festival. We're going to say this was the birth of Christ on December 25th. So that's why we got December 25th. And that's why we associated with the birth of Christ. They gave us that. There ain't necessarily any truth behind that, because if that person did exist, when you really do the knowledge, you know that he was born in a warmer climate, probably around the spring, not the winter. So that's basically, in a nutshell, some of the stuff that I was talking about. Oh yeah, CCH, most definitely. We don't even really technically, like, that ain't even technically the New Year for us. January 1st, like, that's technically not even the real New Year for us. Nathan, appreciate the donation. Oh no, yeah, I've looked into all that. Back when I was doing the knowledge way back in the day, came across all of that, especially the book of Enoch. Man, I got a book that I can't think of off the top of my head. Man, I got a book that talks about that. So I'm gonna have to go back. I'm gonna have to go back into the library and find that book. Man, it was a book I read about 10 years ago that opened my eyes to some of that, especially the book of Enoch. Oh, MR Reaper, most definitely. We don't even, but the thing is, like I said, people don't even realize it. Lamar, I pointed out that, man, I mentioned that verse earlier in the video, and I mentioned that verse like a few videos ago. Jeremiah 10:3. Let you know about the Christmas tree. So yeah, they got us celebrating a lot of like wicked things, man. These holidays got a lot of wicked origins. Like all of them, really, for the most part. We shouldn't be celebrating them, but we are though. So since we celebrating, I just figured might as well just go ahead and let some people know the truth about them. MR Reaper, I've heard about it. I've heard about what that was in. Well, they claim it was like Afghanistan related, right? So it's a hard journey. It's a hard task, man, to just get the people to wake up slightly. Just to wake up slightly, man. It's a hard task, man, to get the people to wake up slightly, because again, when you start speaking this information, you become public enemy number one. People start to hate you. They start to hate you, man. You start getting labeled as things like the Grinch and all that type of stuff, man. But at the end of the day, I'm good. I'm cooling. I'm cooling. This truth is out here for a reason. So I'm cooling, man. The truth is out here for a reason. I mean, why not? Why not do the knowledge to it? Why not research it, and why not spit it back out? It's out here for a reason. It ain't out here for it to just be, or just to remain dormant and hidden. Nah, bring it to the surface, bring it to the light. Bring it to the surface, bring it to the light, man. We gotta stop falling for the okie doke, man. And they getting us with the okie doke. They getting us with the okie doke. Oh yeah, CC, most definitely. They definitely want to keep it buried, but we gonna dig it up. We gonna dig it up. We gonna dig that truth up. Cream always rises to the top, they say, and that's that truth. So we gonna dig that truth back up. Like E40 said on Flash, and man, E40 be dropping a lot of jewels. Yeah, CCH, it's about that time, man, for us to really just wake up and put in the proper work. And Nathan, man, I'm gonna just, man, it's so much that they teach us that's incorrect. Like I talked about like north and south, north being associated with up, south being associated with down, and how when you go back to the ancient Egyptians, that's actually kind of incorrect. But again, I'll do a whole video about that. And basically how we associate black with bad, with evil, and how in other cultures in the East, it's the opposite. Black is pure. Black is a color of peace. White is actually the color of wickedness and evil. So we got it all twisted. Yeah, Brandon, I say it all the time. The truth is neutral. The truth don't care, man. The truth is neutral. The truth is. It's not positive or negative. The truth just is the truth. That's all it is. It's neutral. So the truth don't care about your feelings. That's why we start bending the truth. Yeah, D Monty Magic. This virus stuff is crazy. I left a gas station yesterday. I got mad, man. I was getting some gas yesterday. I was attempting to get some gas yesterday. And normally I just use my car sometimes at the pump because I don't want to go in the store because I don't really feel like putting on the mask. So I just use my car at the pump. Well, this pump, you had to go in the store. You had to pay in the store, man. So I'm walking. I'm forgetting all about the mask, man. So I hit the door and everybody just yelling at me. Hey, man, you got your mask? I'm like, man, I just left. I just left, man. That made me mad, man. I just left and found a gas station where I had to go inside, man. I wasn't finna go back in that car, put that mask on, man. I had forgot. So I just left. Like I'm sick of this world. I'm sick of this society, man. I wasn't finna go get this mask on just to get some gas, man. I'm good. I done made it up to the door to this point with no mask on, so it is what it is at this point. If y'all think I'm spreading the virus, spread at that point. So I was just frustrated, man. So I just left. Eli, peace. What's going on? Oh, Dominique, I always talk about how I keep a Quran and the Bible on me, man. You got to keep the Kabbalah and all that. All the ancient texts, man. You got to keep all that on you. What they call the Book of the Dead and all that type of good stuff, man. You got to keep all that type of stuff on you and study it all. Yeah, MR Reaper, and that's what I'm talking about. See how confusing it gets? D Monty Magic, man. I don't know. I've been thinking about that for a minute. I don't know. I'm up in the air about that, whether or not it's I feel like it's to be a pole shift. And D Monty, that's what I started to say in the store. I said, listen, if everybody in here has on a mask and I'm the only one that does it, y'all should be good. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, so everybody in here has on a mask. I'm the only one that messed around and forgot the mask, and y'all yelling at me. Y'all should be protected. Beautiful Goddess Keys, peace, what's going on? So I just left that gas station. I said, man, this is ridiculous. Y'all know how it is, man. Sometimes you still forget that you got to wear a mask, man. So I was just walking in that store, man, and they were just yelling at me. I mean, it's like as soon as I opened the door, like that's how quick they was on me. So I was like, all right, I'm finna just go somewhere where I ain't got to go in this store, man. I don't feel like wearing this mask just to get some gas, man, just for me to take it right back off. Yeah, Nathan, most definitely. And that's exactly, and I'm going to just show it up on the screen. Appreciate the donation as well, but that's exactly why. But of course, they teach it to us different, though. MR Reaper, and that's one of the reasons mentioning earthquakes. That's one of the reasons why I started getting my survival kit ready because of where I'm located. I'm in Missouri and we got like a New Madrid fault line. We like right on the fault line, right where I'm at. And it was like a massive earthquake that happened, man. What was it? Maybe 200 years ago. And I mean, that earthquake caused a lot of damage. And they said that it's only a matter of time before we have a similar earthquake in Missouri because we on that New Madrid fault line. So I started getting my survival kit ready because I was like harp and all that good stuff, man. They about to activate this earthquake any minute now. So when you survive it, then you all bad out here. So I need to have a survival kit. I need to be ready. So because I'm on that New Madrid fault line, like they was talking about an earthquake like that of that magnitude happening any moment now. Yeah, Travian, man, I can't like at times I just can't tolerate the mask business, man. I got frustrated. I ain't gonna even lie. I had to like some of the white people that's been out here get mad because they've been told to wear the mask. Like I felt that way, man. I was just mad, man. Like let me just get this gas, man. Y'all should fix the pumps to where I ain't got to go in here anyway to pay for this gas. I don't feel like putting it on, so I just left. Yeah, D-Monty, you ain't too far from me, so it's supposed to affect all of us. So I was ready for it. I'm still ready for it a little bit. CCH, definitely. Everybody should have that survival kit. Everybody. Everybody should have that survival kit. Like I have mine laced. I'm finna get back on it. People may think I'm crazy, man, but I got some things that if you knew what I possess, you'd be like, man, dude, crazy. Like I got machetes. Like I'm ready for it. Like nah. Sometimes, like of course, you gotta have the artillery, man, but I keep a machete on me. Oh, Nathan, most definitely got to keep it on you. A lot of people say it's paranoid. No, it's preparation. Preparation. Just like they got their safe spots. Like you just got to be ready for it. You got to be ready for it, man. You got to be ready for war at all times, man. You got to be ready for stuff to go down at all times. So you don't have to get ready. Like by that time, if you got to get ready, it's too late. So if you got to get ready by that time, it's entirely too late. CCH, man, I had a bunch of canned goods. I mean, obviously the cans ain't necessarily the best things, man, but I was finding the ones low in sodium, so I had a lot of canned beans, and a lot of canned fruits. And then I had like some corn. I had corn. I had canned beans, canned corn, canned fruits, stuff that lasted a minute. Because at that point in time, you just gotta do what you gotta do. You ain't necessarily about to be worrying about eating the best. So at that point, man, I'm just getting the canned stuff that I could rock with. So I had the beans, corn, and then I had the fruits, and then I was just loading up on some water. Brandon, I'm in St. Louis. If that's what you're asking, but I'm in St. Louis. But Nathan, no doubt, I'm always down to chop it up. Yeah, Tavon, and that's what I'm saying. That's preparation. Beautiful Goddess Keys. I'm down. I'm always ready for that. I'm always ready for that. I stay ready to slam somebody. But if all fails, you also want to keep some little weapons on, because a lot of people can't take a lot of these grown men can't take a whooping, can't take that. So they might strive to shoot you, or they may strive to shank you. So I'm ready for that too. MR Reaper, no doubt. Like I always recommend, man, just like learning like a martial art. Obviously, just learning how to shoot. learning how to master guns and things of that nature, even learning how to master the knife, man, the machete. Man, but y'all, I didn't got the vent, man. I got some business that I got to tend to, and I'm about to get carried away once again. But I had a little bit more time to chop it up today, so today was a positive dialogue. I may get back on here again, maybe Sunday-ish. I got some things I got to tend to on Saturday, man. I got a lot of sessions on Saturday, so Saturday I'm I'm gonna have to chill on out. So Sunday I may come back, chop it up with you all. But I'm definitely about to tap out now. Some questions that I didn't get a chance to answer, but I'm gonna probably get back to them the next stream. And this is a positive dialogue, positive interaction. As always, I appreciate all the comments, all the donations, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna holler at y'all in a few days. Y'all be easy out here. Y'all don't fall victim to this so-called holiday, man, and overeat, eat all this toxic food. Don't do all that. If anything, it'd be best if you just fast on this day or fast on that day. Stay away from the poison. What they call them, poison animal eaters. Stay away from all that poison. But I ain't about to get the venting about that, man. You already know how I feel about that, man. Y'all stay up. Y'all stay easy. Stay peaceful. Stay centered out here. I'm out, y'all. I'm going to catch y'all in a few days.